Good morning, first and second grade literacy. Today we're going to talk a little bit about our English language and some numbers that have to do with how we're going to be learning English the way we are. Because the way we do it at our school might be a little bit different than how they did it at your school before if you didn't go to our school. And I want you to understand why we do things a little bit differently. So these are three numbers that are related to the English language. The first one is 42. We have 42 somethings in our English language. This 42 is sounds. There are 42 different sounds that we have in the English language. Can you tell me a sound that we have in the English language? Right, so we have 42 sounds. Can you tell me a sound that we have in the English language? Good. You can think about your name as a starting example for my last name, No. Okay, so we have the N sound and then the O sound. So those are all different sounds that we have that we use in English. There are 42 different ones of those. Now our next number is 26. You might know what 26 stands for. What do we have 26 of in English? Did you say letters? If you said letters, give yourself a little pat on the back because there are 26 letters that we use to represent the different sounds that we have in our English language. So 26 letters. Now, let's see, we have 42 sounds and 26 letters. Can anyone think of why that might be a little bit tricky? We have more sounds than we have letters. So what do you think that's going to mean? Right, we might have some letters that can make more than one sound, right? And if you were at our school before, then you know that's the case. Our vowels, for example, we know those all make more than one sound. So we've got 42 sounds and 26 letters. So it seems like probably some of our letters are going to make more than one sound. All right. Can you think of any other ways that we could solve the problem of we only have 26 letters, but we have 42 sounds? Because we know some of our letters are going to have more than one sound. Can anyone think of another way that we could help solve this problem of more sounds than letters? Let's see, how about something like this? All right, if you were at our school last year, at least, you know that this isn't, right? That's what this underline under it tells us, is these are two separate letters, but we can put them together and then they make a different sound. So instead of this being t and then a, what does this say? Tell me if you remember. Right, this one has two sounds and it says f and v. So this is another way, in addition to some of our letters making more than one sound. We know we can put some of our letters together and they're going to say a different sound than they would say when they are by themselves, right? So this is helping us get to the bottom of we have more sounds than we have letters. So to help us solve our problem of having more sounds than letters, we found out that we can put letters together and then that gives them different sounds. But that gives us a new little bit of a problem because that brings us to our last number, which is 72. Once we have all these different combinations of letters that make different sounds, we end up having 72 different, we call them spelling patterns. If you were at our school last year, you know we use the word phonogram for them sometimes. Spelling patterns and phonogram, those mean the same things. So we have 72 of those. Right. So we know that we have 72 different spelling patterns, or we could say phonograms, and we only have 42 sounds. So does that give us kind of a new a new little kind of a problem for English? So it does. We have more spelling patterns than we have sounds. Do you know how we can help fix that? Or how is that going to work if we have more spelling patterns than sounds? So if you were at our school last year, and maybe even if you weren't, you know there's more than one way that we can spell a sound. So some sounds have 2 spelling patterns that go with them. Some have 8, right? There's 8 different ways that we can make the A sound in the English language, right? And if we think about this, let's see. This can say k. This can say k. And then this can also say k. So we have 3 different spelling patterns here that all make the same sound. And part of the reason for this is that the English language has such a different, so the English words come from a lot of different languages. If you had your orthography notebook from last year, this looks kind of familiar, right? And these are some of all the different languages that English comes from, right? Greek and Latin, French, German. So that's why we have so many different ways that we can write different sounds, is because some come from Greek, some come from Latin, some come from German, and the other languages that all helped make up English. And so the reason that we're going to be learning phonics, learning how to write and spell the way that we do, is to kind of help us realize that even though this might seem a little bit confusing to have these different numbers, the way we do it is going to help us make sense of them. We're going to learn the different sounds that our spelling patterns can make, and then that will help us remember when we're spelling which one to use, and that's going to help us as well with our reading. So this was just a little introduction to why we're going to be learning English and our phonograms the way that we are. And I can't wait to start that with you next time.